What is this thing and how do you use it? Well, this is a multimeter and it's used for measuring all sorts of things in electrical circuits. And despite how complicated it looks, it's not that hard to use. So today I'm going to teach you the 3 most important things to measure with your multimeter: resistance, voltage, and current. Voltage and resistance usually have the same port on most multimeters, including mine. What you have to do is plug the black probe into COM and plug the red probe into whichever port is labeled with the capital V. In my case, it's this one right here. Then you have to select the correct mode on your dial. In my case, it's voltage. Yours may have different levels, and you should go with whichever one you think is correct or whichever one is slightly higher. Now, because the current is flowing in this direction, you have to make sure that your red probe goes before your black probe when you measure. So, I'm touching different parts of the resistor. You have to make sure that both sides are not touching, otherwise it will read as 0 volts. So, without letting them touch, you can see that it reads about 5 volts, just shy of it, which is fine. There will be a little bit of discrepancy. Now, to measure resistance, for me it's the same port, but it is the one labeled with the omega symbol, or the ohms symbol. Turn your dial to the ohms and follow the same steps, but disconnect your resistor from the power. Now, do the same thing you did with the volts and touch both ends of the resistor. My resistor is 10 kilo ohms, and because of the tolerance, it's a little bit off, but you can see that it is just shy of 10 kilo ohms. Now, measuring current is slightly more tricky. First, you have to make sure you always go slightly higher than what you think it is. This is super important for current because otherwise a fuse might pop in your multimeter and you'll have to either fix it or get it replaced. Plug your red probe into the port labeled 10A, which stands for 10 amps. Then change your dial to the part labeled with an A. Now you want to break the circuit and make sure that the current actually flows through the multimeter in order for it to be able to measure current. Now you do the same thing where you put the red probe before the black probe and it should give you a reading. In my case, I may have to go a little bit lower in order to find the current. So I'll plug it into milliamps instead of amps, and I will change it on my dial. Now, when I connect it, I'm getting a non-zero reading of about 0.5 milliamps, which is the amount of current that's in my circuit. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped. Have a great day.